Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, good. Let's jump right in. Today we're looking at something pretty different. It's the 21-day Fluency Challenge from the Ocean English Academy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And, they're making a pretty bold claim. They say that they can completely transform both your English fluency and your personality in just 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going straight to the source with this one. We're using their course description to break down what they're offering.
Sounds good.
And, see if it all lives up to the hype.
3 weeks to Fluency A&D, a personality makeover. That's a pretty big promise.
Right.
It kind of makes you wonder if they're spreading themselves too thin.
Yeah.
Like, could focusing on personality development actually be a hindrance for language learning?
Yeah.
Taking away time from practicing the core skills.
Exactly. I mean, most language programs I've seen just focus on, the basics. Grammar, the vocabulary, maybe a little pronunciation. But this one, the Ocean English Academy, they're including modules on things like public speaking,
Interesting.
business English,
Wow.
even influential conversations. So they're definitely going beyond just, your typical language course.
Yeah, I mean, that broader focus is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're really trying to equip you for real world success.
Yeah.
Where, confidence and strong communication skills are just as important as grammatical accuracy.
For sure.
But, it does make me wonder.
Yeah.
Do they actually explain how they plan to develop these skills so quickly?
Yeah.
Because like traditional public speaking courses, this can take months.
They do. They emphasize a learning by doing approach.
Okay.
So there's lots of role playing, group discussions, and supposedly real life scenarios.
Right.
They also mention things like movie nights and singing sessions for cultural immersion.
It's more of like a hands-on approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense. That definitely aligns with the research on effective language acquisition. Active use, especially in authentic situations, tends to be way more effective than just passive learning.
Right.
But, the challenge there is creating those authentic scenarios within like a structured program.
Right.
Especially on such a tight timeline.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a closer look at a few key things they highlight.
Okay.
First, they talk a lot about unleashing creativity in English expression. And it seems like they want you to find your own voice, not just mimic textbook phrases.
Yeah, for sure. That's absolutely crucial for fluency that feels, natural and engaging. A lot of learners, they kind of hit this plateau where they can speak correctly, but it lacks personality.
Yeah.
So if they can actually cultivate that creativity in just 21 days, that would be really impressive.
That would be. They also promise to transform interactions into powerful conversations.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like they're going beyond just basic communication.
Right.
And they're teaching you how to, really engage with people.
Yeah.
And maybe even influence others.
So that's maybe where the personality development aspect comes in.
Right.
Because, being a strong communicator, it involves so much more than just words.
For sure.
Like body language, active listening, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
All these things play a huge role
Exactly.
in how your message is received.
Right.
So I'm very curious to see how they weave those elements into the program.
Yeah. Another interesting detail is their focus on spoken English.
Oh, okay.
A lot of courses prioritize, reading and writing.
Yeah.
But the Ocean English Academy is clearly all about, getting you comfortable and confident speaking from day one.
In a globalized world, that emphasis on spoken fluency is really smart. It's often the key to, unlocking opportunities, building relationships, and just expressing yourself effectively in real-time situations.
Right. They even offer a counseling session.
Oh, wow.
To address any doubts and help people choose the right program.
Interesting.
So it seems like they're trying to personalize the experience to some extent, which I think is a good sign.
Yeah, that personalization is really important, especially with with the intensity of a 21-day program.
Right.
Because not every learner, thrives in a fast-paced environment.
Right.
It would be interesting to know if they offer any alternatives for those who need maybe a slower pace or more individualized attention.
All right. Well, we've unpacked their big promises. Some of the key features here.
Yeah.
What stands out to you so far? Any initial skepticism or anything that particularly piques your interest?
I am intrigued by their attempt to blend language learning with personal development.
Okay.
I think if they can pull it off effectively, it could be a real game changer.
Yeah.
But, the 21-day time frame does raise some concerns about depth and long-term retention.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll need to dig a little deeper into their methodology to see if it's truly as transformative as they claim.
Right.
It's fascinating how they frame Fluency. Ocean English Academy. They're not just talking about grammar and vocabulary.
Right.
They're emphasizing confidence, leadership qualities, the ability to have, these powerful conversations.
Right.
It really makes you think, what does fluency really mean in the 21st century?
That's a great question. Is it about sounding like a native speaker?
Right.
Or is it more about, effectively communicating your ideas and connecting with people from different backgrounds?
Yeah.
It seems like this program is leaning more towards the latter.
Right.
Which I find really refreshing.
I agree. In a globalized world, fluency is less about perfection and more about navigating diverse communication styles and cultural nuances.
Exactly.
And Ocean English Academy seems to be acknowledging that by weaving in those soft skills elements.
They mentioned that their program caters to all levels.
Okay.
Which implies that they have some system for tailoring the content to different learners.
Right.
But I am curious, how did they manage that in such a short time frame? Do they split students into groups or offer individualized instruction? The course description doesn't really go into much detail about the logistics.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
A one-size-fits-all approach wouldn't be effective.
Right.
Especially given the ambitious goals they've set.
Yeah.
Perhaps their initial counseling session plays a role in assessing individual needs and placing students in appropriate learning tracks.
They do mention an assessment test and a feedback session to provide a personalized timeline for achieving fluency goals. It seems like they're trying to be transparent about the fact that individual progress will vary.
That's a responsible approach. I mean, while they guarantee improvement, they wisely acknowledge that the level and pace of that improvement really depends on, individual factors like intellect, learning style, prior experience with the language.
It's a good reminder that there's no, magic bullet for language acquisition. It takes effort, dedication, a willingness to embrace the challenges that come with, learning something new.
For sure.
And let's be honest, learning a language in 3 weeks, even with an intensive program, that's a big ask.
Absolutely. But even if they don't deliver on every single promise, I think there's value in the intensity and the focus they're offering. Imagine immersing yourself in an English-speaking environment for 21 days straight, constantly practicing, receiving feedback, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. That kind of experience can be incredibly transformative. Even if you don't achieve perfect fluency in that short time frame.
It's like a language learning boot camp.
Exactly.
And, they've incorporated those cultural immersion elements, which I think is really smart. Like those movie nights and singing sessions. I think those could create a more relaxed and fun environment for, absorbing the language naturally.
Absolutely. Those activities can also foster a sense of community. A shared purpose among the learners. And that can be incredibly motivating.
For sure.
Especially in a challenging program like this. The social aspect of language learning is often overlooked, but it can make a huge difference. In terms of, engagement and enjoyment.
So let's circle back to their boldest claim. a complete transformation in just 21 days.
Right.
Is it realistic? I'm a bit skeptical, especially on the personality development front.
Yeah, I share your skepticism.
Okay.
I mean, while it's possible to see significant improvements in English skills
Right.
within that time frame,
Right.
especially with an intensive approach,
Yeah.
a complete personality transformation
Yeah.
seems unlikely. Personality is complex.
Right.
It takes time to shift.
Perhaps they're using transformation more figuratively.
Okay.
Maybe referring to, a shift in mindset or
Right.
an increased awareness of one's communication style.
That's a possibility. Even small shifts in, mindset and behavior
Yeah.
can have a ripple effect on how we interact with the world
Right.
and how others perceive us.
Right, right.
It's possible that they're aiming to empower learners
Yeah.
with the tools and techniques to continue their personal development journey,
Okay.
beyond the 21 days.
I don't go into a lot of detail about their teaching methodology
Right.
in the course description.
Right.
So we're left wondering, how do they actually structure the learning process?
Right.
And how do they integrate those personal development aspects?
Yeah, that's something we need to investigate further. Do they rely on, traditional classroom instruction?
Right.
Do they incorporate coaching or mentoring?
Yeah.
How do they provide feedback? And track individual progress?
Right.
These are all, key questions
Yeah.
that would help determine the program's effectiveness.
It would be interesting to hear from past participants.
Yeah.
To get a sense of their experience and whether they felt the program lived up to its promises.
Testimonials can be helpful,
Yeah.
but it's important to remember that, individual experiences can vary widely.
Right.
What works for one learner might not work for another.
Right. Right.
And of course, there's always a degree of subjectivity
Yeah.
involved in evaluating something as personal as, language learning and personal growth.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm left with, a mix of curiosity
Yeah.
and healthy skepticism.
Right.
There's a lot to admire about, Ocean English Academy's ambition and their attempt to reimagine what language learning can be.
I agree. Their focus on practical application, real-world skills,
Yeah.
and personalized support is commendable.
Right.
However, the 21-day time frame and the boldness of their transformation claims
Right.
do warrant further scrutiny.
Okay, so we've spent quite a bit of time now unpacking this 21-day fluency challenge.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear
It is.
that Ocean English Academy, they're really pushing the boundaries of traditional language learning.
Sure.
They've incorporated elements of personal development,
Right.
cultural immersion and real world application in a way.
Right.
That's really, it's intriguing.
It's refreshing to see a program that recognizes
Yeah.
that language is about so much more than just, grammar and vocabulary.
Right.
It's a tool for connection,
Yeah.
self-expression, and navigating the complexities
Right.
of a globalized world.
Exactly. They're essentially saying that if you transform the way you communicate,
Right.
you can transform your life. And while that might sound a little grandiose, it does raise, an interesting question
Yeah.
for our listener.
Okay.
What if you could dramatically improve your communication skills in just 3 weeks?
Right.
What doors would that open for you?
Think about it. Would you feel more confident expressing your ideas in meetings?
Yeah.
Would you be more comfortable connecting with people from different cultures? Would you finally have the courage to,
Right.
give that presentation or start that YouTube channel you've always dreamed of?
Yeah. Those are just a few examples.
Right.
But the possibilities are, truly vast.
Yeah.
Effective communication is really fundamental to success
Absolutely.
in almost every aspect of life, from personal relationships to professional achievements
Right.
to simply feeling empowered to share your voice with the world.
And while the 21-day fluency challenge might not be, you know, a magic solution for everyone,
right?
It does offer, you know, a unique and potentially transformative approach to language learning.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we shouldn't limit ourselves to traditional methods or underestimate the power of, you know, intensive immersive experiences.
I think there's a lot to be said for their emphasis on personalized support as well.
Yeah.
You know, the counseling sessions, assessment tests, those feedback loops, they suggest that they're genuinely invested in helping each learner achieve their individual goals, even within, you know, a tight time frame.
Of course, there are still, you know, some unanswered questions.
Right.
We'd need to delve deeper into their teaching methodology, the qualifications of their instructors, and the long-term impact of, you know, such an intensive program. It would be valuable to gather insights from past participants to see if the program really lives up to its ambitious promises.
Yeah, those are all important considerations for, you know, for anyone thinking about taking the plunge. But even if this specific program isn't the right fit for everyone, I think it sparks an important conversation about, you know, the potential of language learning to be a catalyst for personal growth and transformation.
Absolutely. Whether you choose, you know, a 21-day challenge, a traditional classroom setting, or even a self-directed learning path. Just remember that language learning is a journey, not a destination. It's about embracing the challenges, celebrating the small victories, and constantly, you know, expanding your horizon.
And who knows?
Right.
Maybe you'll discover that you can achieve more than you ever thought possible in just 3 weeks. The key is to, you know, approach language learning with an open mind.
Absolutely.
A willingness to push yourself beyond your comfort zone and a belief in your own potential.
If you're interested in learning more about Ocean English Academy and their 21-day fluency challenge, be sure to check out the link in the show notes.
Down below.
It's definitely a program worth exploring further.
All right. And that brings us to the end of another deep dive. We hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to continue your own language learning journey.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.